Hello everyone, in this video I will be discussing two important chapters from our core textbook, which are the third level and the Tiger King. By the way, my name is Nasser Faruddin, Faculty of English, and I will be helping you cover the entire syllabus for your upcoming English examination. This is actually a series of videos. If you haven't watched the first few videos, do check the video section. Right, let's begin with the first chapter, the third level by Jack Finney. Right, so let's read about Jack Finney first. Who is Jack Finney? Jack Finney, born in 1911, passed away in 1995, the year I was born, was an American writer known for blending fantasy, time travel and realism. A mixture of fantasy, time travel and realism. He's very popular for that idea, that concept. His works often explore how ordinary people slip into extraordinary, impossible experiences. This particular story is no different, how an ordinary man slips into an extraordinary experience. And the third level reflects his fascination with nostalgia, escapism, escaping from the reality, and the possibility of parallel time world, the potential or possibility of parallel time world. Okay, and moving on to the setting of the story, which is very important in the story. The main setting of the story is Grand Central Station in New York. The story takes place in New York, America, to be precise, in Grand Central Station. The story takes place in two time periods, the modern world of the 1950s and the old world of 1894, right? Modern world of 1950, don't get confused. It is at that point of time the story was written. So 1950 is the modern world, 50s is the modern world, and 1894 is the old world. Okay, so the story has two time frames. So you might have already guessed that it is a time travel kind of a story. The modern world is marked by noise, fear, insecurity and stress, while the world of 1894 is shown as peaceful, slow and relaxed, the contradiction of the modern life. And the mysterious third level exists somewhere between these two worlds. Okay, so as the title suggests, there is this third level, this mysterious third level exists somewhere between these two worlds. Okay, and acts as a doorway to the past. That particular third level is functions as a doorway to the past. And who are the main characters of the story? The first one is Charlie. Charlie is the central character of the story. Charlie is the protagonist of the story. Charlie is the narrator and 31-year-old man who works in New York, right? So understood? Then he is simple, emotional and stressed by modern life. He's extremely disappointed by the fast-pacing, anxious modern world. He loves his wife Louisa and enjoys collecting stamps. So stamp collection is his hobby. He believes strongly that he discovered a third level at Grand Central Railway Station. We will detail the story afterwards. Moving on. Louisa is Charlie's wife. She is caring and becomes worried when Charlie starts searching for the third level repeatedly. Later, she joins him in the search. And we have Sam Weiner as well. Who is Sam Weiner? Sam is Charlie's psychiatrist and close friend. So he's a psychiatrist as well as his close friend. He tries to convince Charlie that the third level is only a dream caused by stress. He's a psychiatrist, so he he's trying to convince Charlie that the third level is only the figment of your imagination, not a reality. Okay, it's an imaginary thing that because of the stress in the modern world. However, Sam later disappears. The very person who convinced Charlie that the third level is just an imagination disappears, and his letter from 1894 suggests that he actually found the third level himself. Who is the he? Sam Weiner actually found the third level. And now let's read a very detailed synopsis of the story. Okay, we'll begin with introduction to the story. The third level explores the idea of escaping. The third level explores the idea of escaping from the troubles of modern life through a hidden magical level inside Grand Central Station. So this is the crux of the story. This is a central idea of the story. And Charlie insists that he has visited this third level, even though officials claim that only 2 levels exist. So there is this, argument, the conflict of ideas between the officials and Charlie. And Charlie's explanation and the psychiatrist's view. Charlie's explanation and Sam Weiner, the psychiatrist's view. Right? Sam Weiner, right? Yeah, it is. Charlie explains that his psychiatrist friend believes the experience is only a waking dream wish fulfillment. This is just an imagination of Charlie, not a reality. Sam tried to convince Charlie. According to the psychiatrist, Charlie's desire to escape from fear and worry made him imagine the third level. Okay? That is why he is imagining about the third level, which actually doesn't exist, according to Sam Weiner. But Charlie's I'm sorry, I have a mild fever. Please pardon. But Charlie argues that he's a normal man and was not trying to escape from anything that particular night. Right? He's a normal man, and I'm not trying to run away from my reality. It happened. He insists. Charlie enters Grand Central Station. How he enters the Grand Central Station? One night, after working late, Charlie entered Grand Central Station through the Vanderbilt Avenue entrance. Vanderbilt Avenue entrance is the name of an entrance. He walked to the first level, descended to the second level, stepped down to the second level, and entered a corridor leading to subway. Okay, he wanted to go out. He wanted to go out, maybe into the subway and later take a taxi to his home. Because Grand Central is large and confusing, he soon lost his way. Grand Central Station is very large, extremely large, so he got lost. And the mysterious corridor in the second level. The corridor slanted downwards and curved to the left. The corridor slanted, this is slanting. Sheriga in Malayalam, okay? Slanted downwards and curved to the left. Charlie felt uneasy but continued walking. His footsteps echoed and he saw no one else around. After some time, he heard a distant roar that suggested an open space ahead. So he's coming across a vacant space. He turned sharply left, walked down some stairs, and suddenly stepped into a completely different station area. Right, read it again. He turned sharply left, walked down some stairs, and suddenly stepped into a completely different station area that he hasn't witnessed so far. And Charlie reaches the third level. At first, Charlie thought he was back on the second level. But soon he realized that the place was smaller, the ticket windows were fewer, and the information booth was made of old wood. Right? So everything is looking past, looking old. The man inside wore a green eye shade and black sleeve protectors. The dim, flickering open flame gaslight showed that this was not the modern station. It is not the modern station he frequently visited. It is not, he understood. Description of the past. Charlie noticed Charlie noticed brass spittoons on the floor and people dressed in 19th century clothing. Men wore derby hats, tiny lapel swedes and handlebar mustache, while women wore long dresses with leg of mutton sleeves. Okay, all these indicate that it is not the modern world. It represents the past world. Okay, a small courier and Ives locomotive outside confirmed that he had reached the year 1894, right? So the symbols, the indicators, he observed and he understood that it is the year 1894, not 1950s. To confirm the time period, Charlie picked up a copy of the World newspaper from a newsboy. It carried a headline about President Cleveland. Cleveland is a president who decorated the position in the 1890s. Later, Charlie checked the newspaper in the public library and discovered that it was printed on 11th June 1894. Right? Time travel. And Charlie tries to buy tickets to Galesburg. Excited by the peaceful world of the past, Charlie decided to buy 2 tickets to Galesburg. Why 2 tickets? Because he's a loving husband. He wanted to accompany with Louisa, his wife. Illinois. He remembered Galesburg as a quiet and friendly place with long summer evenings and peaceful scenes. That is exactly why he wanted to visit or go to Galesburg in the past. Why that particular place? This is the reason. And he wanted to take his wife Louisa there and escape the problems of the modern world. But what happens? The ticket clerk rejects his money. Charlie asked the clerk for 2 tickets and the clerk calculated the fare, the money, the amount. When Charlie handed him his modern day notes, okay, actually Charlie is coming from modern day and he has only modern day notes, the currency. So when Charlie handed over the modern day currency, the clerk became angry because the money looked fake in 1894. Right, because the money that is existing in 1950s is actually fake in 1894 because the money has changed. Okay. Scared of being arrested, Charlie quickly left the station. And Charlie attempts to return to the past. Again, he tries to return to the past. The next day, Charlie withdrew $300 and converted it into old-style money. The next day, Charlie withdrew $300 and converted it to past money, old currency. Okay, and even though he got less value because old money was expensive, the conversion rate was expensive, and he got less amount of money than $300, but still he didn't care because life in 1894 was cheaper. It's logical, right? He repeatedly searched for the 3rd level but never found it again. Louisa became worried, so he eventually stopped looking and went back to collecting stamps. He repeatedly searched for the 3rd level, but he could never find it this time. Okay, and he went back to his, this boring, mundane stamp collecting. Sam Weiner disappears. The psychiatrist friend disappears. Soon afterwards, Charlie's psychiatrist friend Sam disappeared. Charlie suspected that Sam might have found the 3rd level. Sam might have found the 3rd level, the mysterious level, because Sam had always liked the idea of living in Galesburg. Okay, and the first day cover. This is a twist. The first day cover. This is a surprise. One night, Charlie was looking at his stamp collection. He found a first day cover. What do you mean by first day cover? A special envelope that stamp collectors keep. The envelope was addressed to his grandfather in Galesburg. That particular envelope was addressed to the grandfather in Galesburg. It had a post stamp dated 18 July 1894, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie was shocked because first day covers are usually kept unopened and unused, but this one had actually been posted and stamped long ago. So he understood that Sam Weiner has reached in the past. Sam's letters from 1894. Inside the envelope, Charlie discovered a letter from Sam Weiner. Sam wrote that Charlie had been right. Sam wrote that, Charlie, what you were saying was right, and that the 3rd level truly existed. The 3rd level is a reality. It is not an imagination of Charlie. He said he had been living in Galesburg for 2 weeks, enjoying peaceful evenings, music, and friendly gatherings. He invited Charlie and Louisa to keep searching for the third level and urged them to join him because life in 1894 was wonderful. Okay, so that's how the story ends, and the final confirmation. Later, Charlie learned that Sam had purchased $800, not 300, $800 worth of old style currency before disappearing. So it was kind of confirmation that Sam Weiner has escaped to the past. This money would help Sam open a hay, feed and grain business which he had always wanted. Okay, and Charlie realized that Sam could not continue his job as a psychiatrist in 1894 because in 1894 the profession of psychiatry was not very common, maybe never existed, which proved that Sam had needed indeed traveled into the past. Okay, conclusion. The story ends with a sense of mystery. The story has an open ending. The author has allowing us to interpret the climax or what happens after this. So the sense of mystery, there is a sense of mystery. It is never clearly stated that whether the third level truly exists or whether it is only a creation of the mind. The author is not trying to establish whether the third level is there or not. However, Sam's letter from 1894 suggests that the line between reality and fantasy is unclear, leaving readers to decide for themselves. The line between reality and, magic or fantasy is very narrow. So what are the themes of the story? The first one is escape from reality. The strongest theme in the story is the human desire to escape from the pressure of modern life. Charlie feels stressed by the fast-paced world filled with fear, war, worry and insecurity. I mean, this is something you can use in your examination. I'm not elaborating too much on this. Because of this, his mind creates or finds the third level as a doorway to peaceful past. The story shows that when life becomes too difficult, people naturally look for ways to escape from reality, sometimes through imagination and sometimes through hobbies like stamp collecting. Again, the hobby of Charlie, the stamp collecting, is also escaping from reality. And the conflict between reality and fantasy, there is this constant conflict between reality, whether something is reality or fantasy. This conflict is going on throughout the story. Throughout the story, the boundary between reality and fantasy becomes blurred. Charlie cannot decide whether the third level is real or a dream. The sudden appearance of Sam's letter makes the whole situation even more mysterious. Jake Finney suggests that the fantasy can feel real when our emotions are strong and reality itself can contain unexpected mysteries. Okay, so these are the major themes of the story, and that brings us to the next chapter, which is The Tiger King. The Tiger King is written by Kalki. Kalki is actually the pen name of a Tamil author. Okay, The Tiger King, written by R. Krishnamurthy. His pen name is Kalki. Was a celebrated Tamil writer, journalist and freedom fighter. His works often exposed the foolishness, arrogance and cruelty found in society, especially among the rich and powerful. Okay, his works often explored as I have mentioned, the arrogance and cruelty showcased by the rich people, the influential people in the society. In the Tiger King, the story Tiger King, he uses humor and irony to criticize the abuse of loyal authority and the mindless destruction of wildlife. Okay, so this is actually a very simple story, but it has a moral at the end of the story. Okay, it is not as difficult as the third level, but it's very simple. Okay, listen to me. What is the setting of the story? The story happens in the imaginary kingdom of Pradipandapuram. Okay, this is the setting of the story, and it is an imaginary kingdom. Pradipandapuram is the name of the kingdom, and it describes the life of the crown prince from his birth to his time as the Maharaja. the crown prince. Okay, he's the central character of the story. As he grows older, he becomes obsessed with hunting tigers and continues this dangerous activity without thinking about the consequences. So this Maharaja of Pradipandapura becomes obsessed with the hunting, the habit. What is that habit? Obsessed with hunting tigers. Okay, and the setting is shown in a funny but meaningful way. It reveals a world where the king's power controls everything and the people around him show respect only because they are afraid of losing their safety and position. Right? So here we can see a crown prince of Pradipandapura who is autocrat. Okay, who is deciding everything on himself, and the people are obeying without resisting because of the fact that they were afraid of losing their life, their safety, their position in the kingdom. And what is the synopsis of the story? Listen to me very, very carefully. This is a very simple story. Birth of the prince and the prophecy. The prophecy. The story opens with the narrator stating that the Maharaja, famously known as Tiger King, the Maharaja, famously known as the Tiger King is already dead. So this is how the story begins. In the very beginning of the story, the author states that Tiger King, the Maharaja of Pradipandapura, is already dead, and we are going for a flashback. The tale then moves back. The story, tale means story. The story then moves back to the time of birth of the Maharaja, when royal astrologers predicted that, although the infant prince would grow into a powerful hero, this infant will definitely grow into a powerful hero, but he would eventually die because of a tiger. He eventually die because of a tiger. Okay, right. To the amazement of everyone, the 10-day-old baby spoke clearly and confidently, challenging the astrologers and demanding that they explain the manner of his death. Okay, you should explain. The 10 days old child started speaking, and he's challenging the astrologers against the prophecy, and he wanted to know from the astrologers that the manner of him being killed. How am I going to be killed by a tiger? He wanted the astrologers to explain that. The chief astrologer declared that since the prince was born under the sign of the bull, and since the bull's enemy is the tiger, the boy would be killed by a tiger. But the infant's fearless reaction, let the tigers beware. Skylar, I'm not in danger, I am the danger. There is this very famous dialogue from Breaking Bad. And likewise, the child is saying, let tigers beware. Why should I be afraid of the tigers? Let tigers beware. Is the first sign of his future personality. And the prince grew up. As the years pass, the prince grows up exactly like the crown princes of other Indian states, raised under strong British influence. He drinks the milk of an English cow, he is cared for by an English nanny, taught by an English man, and views only English films. At the age of 20, he becomes the ruler of Pradipantapuram. The old prophecy about his death soon comes back to him, and the young Maharaja decided that the only way to escape the prediction is to kill tigers before they can kill him. The only way to escape from his death is to kill the tigers before they can kill him. Okay, and the tiger hunt begins. Determined to defeat fate. Okay, that is the whole idea of the story. The Maharaja of the powerful Maharaja of Pradipandapura wanted to defeat fate, destiny. Could he do that? Let's see. The Maharaja starts hunting tigers with great excitement. After killing his first tiger, he victoriously calls the chief astrologer to show him the dead animal. But the astrologer tells him that he may safely kill he may safely kill 99 tigers, but he must be extremely careful with the 100th tiger, as that one will determine his fate. That 100th tiger will determine his destiny, the astrologer warns the Maharaja of Pratipantapura. From that day onwards, the Maharaja becomes obsessed with killing tigers and declares that no one else in the kingdom is allowed to hunt a tiger. He declared that no one else in the kingdom would be allowed to hunt a tiger. Why is it so? Because he need to keep the count. And he need to kill the first 100 tigers. Anyone harming a tiger would have all property confiscated. Okay? And the Maharaja refuses to attend to any other matters of governance until his goal is achieved. What was his goal? What is his goal? To kill all the 100 tigers, and he was extremely obsessed in that, so that he hasn't involved in any welfare or the affairs of the country. But the conflict with the British officer. During one of these periods, a high-ranking British officer visits Pratipantapuram and expresses a desire to hunt tigers. The Maharaja refuses because he wants to reserve all tigers for himself. The Maharaja initially refused this desire because he wanted to kill all the 100 tigers by himself. The officer's secretary then suggests that the British officer only wants a photograph standing over a dead tiger. The king may kill the tiger himself, right? So they reached in an agreement, a pact. But the Maharaja refuses this too. But the Maharaja, who is so obsessed in this, hunting tigers, refuses this too. This insult puts the kingdom in danger because offending a British officer could cost the king his throne. And how did they solve the issue? To save the situation, the Maharaja sends 50 costly diamond rings, 50 costly diamond rings to the officer's wife, hoping she will choose a few and return the rest. She will choose a few from the 50 because those are options. But what happened? Instead, she keeps all 50 rings and sends a note of thanks. Although the king loses 3 lakh rupees, he manages to keep his kingdom. 3 lakh. Such a huge money at that point of time. And the tiger population disappears. In the next 10 years, the Maharaja continues to hunt tirelessly and manages to kill 70 tigers. However, the forest of Pratipantapuram soon became empty of tigers. But he wanted to kill 100 tigers in order to defeat the fate. Since his vow is still incomplete, he orders Diwan to find him a suitable bride from a kingdom that has many tigers, right? So that he can hunt tigers again. After his marriage, every time he visits his father-in-law's kingdom, he kills several more tigers. In this way, the number gradually reaches 99, ladies and gentlemen, 99. Only one final tiger remains to complete his vow. And the search for the 100th tiger. The Maharaja becomes extremely anxious because he cannot find the last tiger anywhere. The 100th tiger he couldn't find anywhere. News then comes from a hillside village that sheep have been disappearing, which suggests that a tiger may be hiding nearby. The Maharaja rushes to the forest and refuses to leave until the tigers is found. His anger becomes uncontrollable and he even threatens to double the land tax of that particular area. He was so obsessed in that. Terrified for his own position, the Diwan secretly brings the Diwan of the place secretly brings an old weak tiger from the People's Park in Madras and releases it in the forest at midnight to ensure the king finds it so that he can escape from this problem. The king kills the 100th tiger. The next day, The exhausted tiger, the tired tiger, appears before the Maharaja. The king shoots at it and the tiger collapses. The Maharaja proudly declares that he has killed the hunter tiger and defeated the prophecy, defeated his fate. However, when the hunters inspect the animal, they realize that the king has completely missed his target. The king has completely missed his target. The tiger had only fainted from the noise of the bullet. The tiger had only fainted, fainted because of the noise of the bullet. Fearing for their jobs, the veterinary surgeons fearing for their jobs, the hunters secretly shoot the tiger properly and then carry it in a grand procession as the king had ordered. You understood the story so far? But what happened? The tragic and ironic death of Maharaja. The tragic and ironic death of Maharaja. Soon after this incident, the Maharaja begins to spend more time with his family because now he's relaxed. Now that he has killed all the 100 tigers, he's relaxed. He saved from his fate, so he started spending time with his family, especially his young son. While buying a birthday gift for the boy, he chooses a cheaply made wooden tiger. What did he buy? He bought a cheaply made. The quality of that, wooden tiger was very low because the toy is crudely curved. Okay, because the toy is crudely carved. Tiny splinters. What do you mean by splinters? Wooden pieces. Okay, tiny splinters of wood stick out from its surface. As the king plays with the toy, one of the splinters pierces his hand. One of the splinters, the piece of the wood, pierces his hand. The wound becomes infected, develops into a serious sore, and spread dangerously up his arm. Okay, the wound becomes infected, develops into a serious sore, and spread dangerously up his arm. 3 surgeons are called from Madras, and after a long operation, they announce that the operation has been successful, but the Maharaja is dead. The operation has been successful, but the Maharaja is dead. In the end, the 100th tiger that kills him is not a living tiger, not a living animal, but the small wooden toy. Thus, the astrologer's prophecy is fulfilled in the most unexpected and ironic way. Conclusion. Okay, through this story, Kalki satirizes the arrogance of rulers who believe they can control destiny. Nobody can control destiny. So Kalki is satirizing the arrogance of rulers who thinks they can control destiny. The Maharaja tries desperately to escape death by killing tigers. Yet the very object meant to entertain his son becomes the tool of his own destruction. The story mocks the foolishness of those in power and shows the fate, nature, and irony often have the final say. Fate, nature, and irony often have the final say. And we have some beautiful themes for the story as well, which are satire on the arrogance of power. It is obviously a satire on the arrogance of power and the inevitability of fate. You cannot control or you cannot stop fate. Okay, inevitability, something that you cannot control. So that's all about today, and do check the description box for the chapter test based on the story. And thank you for watching, and please do scan the QR code for handwritten notes. Thank you everybody. I'll see you in the next class. Bye.